I have a new notebook.
Oh yeah, I bought Jerry a new notebook. I fund this whole operation.
Yes, he buys me food.
He has a kid, but this is my baby.
That's my payment. He buys me food.
Yeah, I almost literally pay for the help to do the show. Like,
why are you happy to help for?
Good thing they can't tax food as payment, because they'd be like, "Hey, where are my 13 fries, bitch?"
Okay.
All right, government.
Support, no DQ.
So do you want to ask them the same question like we started off with last night for the other?
Oh yeah. Okay. So Noah, what was your first live wrestling event?
It was back in 2010 here in my town. I think it was before the Huntington Center was actually built. No, it was built at the time. It was a W Live house show.
Cool.
What about you, Chris? Or have you gone to one yet?
It was in Pensacola, Florida, 2002. It was
Old school.
after Wrestle. Yeah, it was 2002. Was it 2002? I gotta remember now. It was when Triple H and Steve Austin were the two-man power trip.
Oh,
they were
damn, that was a good era.
In the main event.
Oh,
That
nice.
was nice.
And that was a shocking thing at that time, because when I was younger, I didn't think about that SmackDown was recorded. So we were all shocked when Jeff Hardy came out there as the Intercontinental Champion, because we hadn't seen SmackDown yet, because it was on a Thursday night, that show was. And on a Friday, SmackDown was on. That's when we got to see Jeff Hardy win the Intercontinental Championship from Triple H. So what do y'all see Roman Reigns doing at WrestleMania since now he's back? Now, what do you see him doing?
I see him being in Seth Rollins' corner, but I don't see him really doing much in the match.
It depends on how physical that he is going to be allowed to be.
That's what I'm judging by at this point. Granted, his cancer's in remission, and that's fantastic. But it doesn't really say how much of his system is actually built back up. So.
Correct.
I mean, we saw several Superman punches out of him and one spear.
Yeah.
Not the best looking spear at that.
No.
Now it's too early for me to guess what his physical capacity is going to be. Considering his status and his spot, you could put him anywhere you want. You could weave him into the main event if you want, and it wouldn't take more than a couple of weeks for that to be believable. But when he came out,
Considering we have over a month till WrestleMania, I could definitely see him at least being in Seth Rollins' corner, as you all stated. But yeah, I don't see him really getting involved too much in a physical capacity at WrestleMania. They might push to do some of that fast lane where he might be part of a match, but not so much involved in it. Maybe get like a hot tag spot, because they're all talking about, oh, it's good, the Shield's back. The Shield's going to reunite again. Maybe we'll get Shield versus a 44.0 again. God help us. But as far as Roman's inclusion in WrestleMania, I would have to say just support at this point.
my guess is it's going to be either the Shield versus Baron Corbin and his gang. So probably Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, because I don't see you putting Elias in either one of those spots over either of those two at Fastlane. They'll probably set that up on Raw. Or because you can't do the Shield reunion at Mania because Rollins is in the main event.
Now, unless you're going to have Seth work double time, and I highly doubt they'll do that. Another thing, though, to consider,
he's done it before.
You could also put Braun Strowman with the four of them and add Elias to the heel side and have an 8-man tag.
That's what I was thinking, because I think they could push more towards that idea at Fastlane. Because I feel like Mania, it would make more sense if you do like. I really think Drew McIntyre should be in a singles match, but at this point I don't know who with. I don't want to see him go up against Kurt Angle again. I feel like that would be redundant. Dean Ambrose. Dean, they've gone back and forth. Do we want to see that again at WrestleMania? It'd be like freaking Brock versus Dean Ambrose back at WrestleMania 32, but without a chainsaw. And Baron Corbin, all he's been reduced to is a Battle Royale and kickoff show. So, I mean, there's not a lot to really go there. And Seth's already booked. So, I mean, I don't know where Dean and Roman really stand at Mania.
This is a pit
I mean,
stop.
you could possibly, if Reigns is up to healthy enough, you could do Reigns versus Drew. That'd be an interesting matchup there if he's up to it and he's healthy enough to be able to pull off a match.
At
Yeah,
Mania,
that's what
I would
we're doing.
love to see Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre.
That
I
would
could
be
see that
something.
happening more officially, though, on the pay-per-view afterwards, Backlash. But hopefully, well, actually, no. I feel like this match would be treated better versus Backlash last year. Y'all remember what happened there?
I mean, no, I love this match for both of them. Because what better person to put Roman Reigns in the ring with at Mania than the up-and-coming, again, Drew
I was
McIntyre?
about to say, he's like
And-
the phoenix of the WWE.
What else are you going to do with Drew McIntyre if not put him in a high-profile... And there's no more high-profile match than Roman Reigns if Roman Reigns isn't in the main event.
True.
So this answers the question, what do you do with either one of them? You put them both in a match together. And of course
Now
you
the
have
question
Roman
is what
Reigns.
happens after that.
Who the fuck knows, man? I'm telling you, Triple H and even Triple H, Stephanie, and Shane all together. But at the very least, Triple H needs to invade WWE with NXT and push Vince out of the business and fucking take over.
That'd be such a
Yeah.
that'd be
Let me ask you all this, because this brings up an interesting point that I was thinking about. Because you saw on SmackDown Live how both Shane and Stephanie, they were kind of faces. Vince went over both of them. Is this, because we already know all the back heat, like turmoil between this family, okay? This family's got real life heat among each other, blah, blah, blah. And Vince is the know-all, say-all, be-all, end-all. Is this actually building kayfabe-wise to McMahon versus his children again, with Triple H as part of them, basically trying to take over the business?
Well, Wrestle
I can
Talk.
see that.
Wrestle Talk basically insinuated this. You know that I think it was Luke Owen was talking about how if Vince McMahon coming out and taking these championship matches away from both Becky Lynch and Kofi Kingston and putting in somebody that he wants in the match. Like, if this is storyline where, like, he's getting old and stupid and crotchety or whatever, like, and he needs to go, like, this is building towards Stephanie and Triple H and Shane ousting him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this needs to turn into a takeover. And how appropriate is the name of the NXT pay-per-views? Triple H has been warning Vince McMahon about this
over.
for a fucking decade,
Mm-hmm.
almost,
Yeah.
it feels like. And
And
he
you
comes
could
to
just
take
call the
over.
show Takeover, because that would be the end all. Now, would you end it the same way like a traditional Survivor Series match, like a 5-on-5? How would you end this storyline? What would be the ending dynamic of WWE versus NXT?
I think I think this should go not to the like short timeline degree, but almost as abruptly as when Stephanie married Triple H, and in basically in one full swoop episode, Vince leaves because he's sick of him.
Yep.
Like, he can't stand the smell of or something. I can't remember.
Or Vince, you're leaving.
And the McMahon Helmsley era starts right then.
Yep.
They take over that night.
Yeah.
And then take over from there. I don't think one episode takes care of this, but maybe
Well,
6
see,
weeks build to a
You
pay-per-view.
have to figure this too. Back in the day, around it when that was going on, they only had 2-hour programs. Like now they have 3 hours the 3 hours to play around with.
They could do with this what they should have done with the Alliance angle, the WCW purchase angle,
Yes.
the invasion
Yeah.
angle. They should do with this what they should have done with that, and I think there's better odds that that'll happen because NXT is a brand that WWE owns.
Mm-hmm.
Owns, that is their company, so
That's their baby.
they don't have to bury its talent because they were WCW guys.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we haven't seen how much the NXT talent currently on the main roster is being used. Amazing, though, how some of this talent has been immediately pushed. Strongest example, the Revival. They now hold the Dimes. I am fucking sick of those Dime Tag Team Championships. Anyway, hey, they're now the Tag Team Champs, so I mean, how was this all brought on? Did Triple H have a say in this? Is Vince fearing something? It just seems really weird to me. I almost don't want to say what I feel like is the obvious thing here, and that's what I've been hearing about from everybody, the AEW effect. But it just seems rather odd that all of a sudden you have Revival as your tag team champs. You have Kofi just launched into the main title picture, 11 years in the business. So it's just weird right now, the practices that WWE are doing. Now, truth be told, Mania season. So obviously Vince, that's his baby. So he's going to push all his, veterans and all his favorites in the fold. I wouldn't be surprised to see him being behind Triple H versus Batista. Again.
I think Batista is behind Triple H versus Batista.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, though, I think the tag team titles on Raw being on the Revival and the SmackDown Tag Team Championships being on the Usos is a no-brainer at that.
Mm-hmm.
That is their way of keeping them under contract because their contracts, the Usos contracts expire soon, and the Revival reportedly had requested their release and were denied.
Correct.
So to appease them, they now have the championships, and that's no coincidence. However, the Kofi thing, I think that was just one of those things that happens that there's no explanation for. Because what they did was push him strong in that, what was it?
Gauntlet?
Yeah, the gauntlet match. They pushed him strong in the gauntlet match to get him over as a worthy challenger for the Elimination Chamber, since Mustafa Ali, who had already pinned the champion once or twice, now you're going with Kofi Kingston, who hasn't earned his way, and in fact gets picked at one of 3 of the New Day. So you make him look strong in the gauntlet match, but it ended up blowing up because he looked so strong that people got behind him, and we're in the era of social media, and hashtag Kofi Mania started.
Yeah, Kofi Mania running wild, and everybody wants Kofi to get his moment because Kofi has yet to get a WrestleMania moment and yet to be the WWE champion. What's funny about Kofi Kingston, though, on the New Day, this is the second time Kofi's been pushed in one of those New Day unique spots. Remember, the last time this happened was Money in the Bank when he was chosen to go into that match. Mm-hmm. Another match he has yet to win yet either. But I thought at one point they were trying to push Big E on a singles push, and I thought that was the biggest reason Big Show came back into the fold. Now Big Show's gone again, and Big E is back to just being the intro guy. If anyone was going to be pushing the New Day, I thought it was honestly going to be Big E.
I feel
I'm
if anybody...
curious what they're going to do now here with Kofi Kingston, because they changed the match and put Owens and Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. My theory is that they're going to end. That Daniel Bryan's going to find a way to beat Kevin Owens, and then there's going to be tension with Vince McMahon and Shane and Stephanie, and then they're going to look at Vince like, okay, well, you had your pick. He didn't win. He didn't take title off Bryan, so let's go with our pick and put Kofi and Bryan at Mania.
Now, here's my fear about that, though. What if they try and do Control-C, Control-V? Aha! They try and turn this to a triple threat, and they do Kevin Owens versus Kofi versus the new Daniel Bryan for the first
I know, got it.
I just hope this
ends... I can see Vince doing that.
I just hope this ends with Kofi getting the title at WrestleMania. And let's be honest here. Finally, you can shut everybody on the internet up. You can put a black guy as the WWE champion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not wrong there. With that being said, what does that do to the new Daniel Bryan? I mean, this championship that he created, it's still relatively fresh, no pun intended, at this point. I honestly don't see the new Daniel Bryan losing this title before Mania. I could see him holding it till SummerSlam.
Oh, I'm predicting Kofi at Mania just because I want to see. And Kofi, of all the people that you could list, other than the ones that have actually won the World Championship, and to some extent, you've got Bobby Lashley with the ECW Championship. Kofi is most assuredly the most deserving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
no question there.
So because I guess that's always been the Smarks argument for WWE, that they've never had a black guy as the WWE champion, and it's like, oh well, it's about timing and people that that deserve it, and it's like Kofi for real, like.
Yeah.
11 years. And he's just been awesome for 11 years. So, I can't remember a time where Kofi wasn't awesome.
Ryder been in WWE, and he had his big moment in that ladder match when he won the IC title, only to lose the following night before. Could this end the same way, I wonder?
I don't care. As long as they put the title on Kofi, I don't care if it's short or long. Like, I've said this before on videos, like, to me, the title is something that everybody should be trying to get. So short reigns, to me, make sense. Because everybody's trying to get the title. So you're going to defend it, and occasionally you lose on your first defense.
But does that, do you think, over time, like, degrade the value of the title because it's just plain hot potato?
Not the title, just Kofi. Like, if Kofi holds it, if Kofi wins it at Mania and loses it on SmackDown, and he has a 2-day reign, it brings Kofi down a little bit, but not the title.
No.
The title is the reason that a person has a 2-day reign or a 24-hour reign is because that title is so prestigious. Everybody fucking wants it, and they will do. Some people will do anything they can, outside of the rules, even as long as they don't get caught, to get that title. So that shit makes sense. It's just if you're a champion that can only hold it for 24 hours, that brings you down a little bit.
Yeah.
But not the title. Oh my God, not the title. The titles are like, like I said before, the titles are one of those things that carry a storyline without doing anything. They're just there. They're props, like Aaron said before. But
well, I mean, it could work like that if he won it and lost it on SmackDown. Like, think about it, how it worked with Christian. Christian won the World Heavyweight title at Extreme Rules years ago, lost it on SmackDown to Randy Orton, and then they ended up having a long feud going back and forth with it until SummerSlam where it ended. I mean, they had a good long feud to turn Christian heel. It was a very interesting storyline going all the way into SummerSlam. So they could do something like that, have a credible opponent, a good opponent for him to be somebody like maybe a Kevin Owens or Daniel Bryan wins it back, for example, 2 days later on SmackDown, or anybody just ends up beating Kofi for it, and then they could be chasing it back and forth till SummerSlam.
yeah.
So,
So
yeah, considering you got Money in the Bank before SummerSlam as well, so you also got that dynamic in play too. I honestly miss Money in the Bank being part of like WrestleMania and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
I do too.
That made it that much more special.
Gimmick name pay-per-view.
and the fact that it gave you a legitimate reason to take 6 or 8 or fucking how much? What's the largest one?
I think they had 8 at one point.
It was 8 at one point.
You could put 8 fuckers in a match for 1 belt, or not for a belt, for
For a
the
briefcase. yeah.
briefcase, and you don't have to worry about those guys' feuds because they're just going into that match, and some of them have feuds going in between them. But you have something for them to do where everybody's in the same match, and you don't have WrestleMania expand by an hour because they all get their own separate matches.
That's something I'm agreeing with them on. Is the fact that like I hate these like pay-per-views that they're having that are based around these stipulation matches like this, because that just takes away from the awesome feel to it, and almost like the uncertainty that comes with them as well, because like you never really knew when you were gonna get a Hell in a Cell match. You knew you were gonna get Money in the Bank at WrestleMania at least.
I agree with the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
I also slightly agree with Elimination Chamber. With Money in the Bank, to me, it's a concept much like the Dusty Rhodes Classic. It comes once a year. You just change the time. So you could do it at WrestleMania. It could come twice a year. You could do it at WrestleMania and still have the pay-per-view.
Yeah, but I'm saying they don't need a pay-per-view titled Money in the Bank.
But you kind of can, because you only do it once a year, and might as well build a pay-per-view around it. But I totally agree, you do not build a pay-per-view around Hell in a Cell, because now you're forcing like these matches to conclude in Hell in a Cell that don't naturally progress to a point to where they have to finish the match in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
How screwed was last year's Hell in the Cell, the one that ended in no contest? Under what other circumstance or show did a Hell in a Cell end in a no contest?
Didn't. Wasn't there one that ended kind of like just didn't end a non-finish?
I think that's what he's talking about.
No, not that one. An
maybe,
early one.
Wait. Are you thinking about the one Miz and R-Truth came into play under the ring and got arrested?
That could
I think
be
that
it.
one ended. I don't
No,
remember.
it didn't, because Alberto Del Rio won back the title at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, that was after that match ended. So, to my
It was after
knowledge,
the match ended.
I think this is the first. Yeah, I think that's the first this happened. I'm like, what? No legitimate ending?
Yeah.
I mean,
I was about to say- I was about to say-
the last Hell in a Cell match that had a storyline that required a Hell in a Cell was Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy last year with their feud. Was the last match. I felt like, okay, it makes sense to put them in Hell in a Cell.
But you still knew it was coming because Hell in a Cell was right around the corner.
Well, I was about to say, like, the Hell in the Cell is there for finality. Is pretty much what it is. Back in the day, you'd have your steel cage matches, like, late '80s, early '90s, whatnot. Steel cage match is what sealed it. That's what ended any kind of feud. But like now, it just seems like Hell in a Cell just feels like a filter. Like first ever Hell in a Cell match, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. That one needed to happen, and then you had naturally you have Undertaker versus Mankind, and that was just brutal from top to bottom at King of the Ring.
King of the Ring, 1998.
Yes.
God Almighty, he killed him.
Yes.
I think it does, though, make sense to have Money in the Bank as a pay-per-view. But I also like it at WrestleMania. I wish they just did it twice a year.
Yeah.
Just different people with Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean, considering they already got 2 Money in the Bank matches now, one for the men and one for the women.
That'd be something different too. Just have one like on one pay-per-view and one on another.
I also think Elimination Chamber kind of works as a pay-per-view, and they made it work because it's always for a title or a shot at a title. So, now Elimination Chamber is the next pay-per-view. So now instead of just 2 of you going for the belt, we can put 6 of you in the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it kind of works because otherwise you have to kind of organically wait for a feud between 6 fucking people to happen. For you to say, oh yeah, I know where we can settle this inside
I kind of like how they
Chamber.
did Elimination Chamber this year, where they had both chamber matches, basically the closing and the opening of the show. Everything else in between was just filler.
Mm-hmm.
But they were for championships,
Mm-hmm.
so you can build a chamber match around the idea that a champion's going to be a championship's going to change hands, or in the case of the women's tag division,
Champions
crowned.
Yeah.
So it kind of works.
About the women's tag team titles. So this is very unique to me. I gotta be honest. When I first heard these titles, like, okay, first off, there was history. I wasn't born in the '80s, but I'm aware that there was original women tag team champions. And then I'm straight about, okay, I'm looking at all the teams on the main roster. Keyword team. What qualifies you as a team? Are you a pair? Do you have long-term chemistry? Are they just putting you together because they got nothing better for you to do and they want you to get and you just want to get out of catering? In my opinion, like I said, I feel like the only true team, yes, Jerry, in my opinion, the only true team I felt on the main roster at this point were the Iconics. They're real life friends. They've been a tag team since day one before even coming up on the main roster. I feel like they would have had some unique, hilarious chemistry with those titles, similar to Lay Cool, except they're a legitimate tag team.
They
I can also see why they did Boston Hug, going back to the route at NXT, especially since it seems now these titles will be defended, or at least incorporated in a way among all the brands, which I thoroughly enjoy. That had to be a Triple H move, because there's no way in hell Vince would be like, okay, you're going to defend the titles in NXT or NXT UK. Because Vince would know shit about those 2 brands.
No.
With that being said, I fucking hate that Nia Jax Tamina first. But that's gotta be a squash, because there's no way in hell you're gonna pass those titles on to them when Bayley and Sasha Banks are so hot right now with those titles. So I guess at this point is, where do the titles go from after Fastlane? I know obviously WrestleMania, but against who?
Okay, so let me back up.
All right.
So back to the original part. As I pointed out to Cindy last night, they are actually inaugural belts because the previous tag championships were either WWF or WWWF. Still haven't looked that up. But still, these are the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely a first. Because,
All right.
yeah, so technically
Oh
speaking...
my God, he's crossing his arms just like she did.
But he actually agreed with
He
my
didn't
point.
take his
Yeah.
glasses off, though.
Well,
Okay,
again,
so
I
let's...
already talked about my grievances about Fastlane, but staying on topic, continue your point, Stefan.
So I agree with you with the Iconics that they are the only legitimate team, because when you were talking about that, I was going to say, what constitutes a team is they come out to the same theme music. They don't come out separate. They come out to the same music, incorporate their two themes or whatever. Sheamus and Cesaro did it. You know, it's mostly Sheamus's music.
Jericho.
I mean, for real, if you come out to separate theme songs,
The Miz Show.
you come out separately, I do not believe you're quite the team. The Iconics do. So I agree with you on that, although in order for them to establish the rules of this being cross-branded titles, it had to be baby faces that are willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And of the baby faces, you pick the right ones in Bayley and Sasha Banks. They're kind of the ones that started the whole vocal on television trend of talking about women's tag titles in those segments they did with Alexa Bliss, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
What I'm curious about now is what they're going to do at WrestleMania. My proposal is maybe they do some kind of fatal four-way elimination match. They have one team. They end up with them versus one team from Raw, one team from SmackDown, and one team from NXT.
That would be
in a fatal
beautiful.
four-way.
That'd be insane.
As long as it's elimination.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, elimination.
Four corners elimination tag match.
Since we're NXT affiliated, what NXT women's team would we want in there? Like two women that we actually won from either NXT or NXT UK.
Well, the first choice would obviously, I would think, be Io Shirai and Kairi Sane.
Oh, yeah,
Io
probably.
Shirai, she's now looks like in the main title picture.
Yep.
Obviously, if she gets pushed to face Shayna Baszler for the title, you're not going to have her work double duty. So you probably would go with something unique, maybe a first. Now, we did see two teams, as you pointed out, what's NXT, give us a very good match on both parts.
Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah.
Now, truth be told, their themes, they aren't merged or anything like that because, it's the first time you're seeing both these teams in action. So I don't see either of those teams coming into play. If I was really going to make out a team from the NXT women and it's WrestleMania, you probably would do a unique first. And I would probably incorporate women you've already seen on the main roster. Hence, the Royal Rumble. I would probably try something crazy like Casey Catanzaro and Candice LeRae.
That wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, because you've got the name value with Casey because she's the American Ninja Warrior chick.
Yeah.
And then you've got Candice LeRae that a lot of people know as Johnny Gargano's wife. So.
Yeah.
And as wrestling.
Oh, she.
So what about SmackDown?
Well, like I said, I mean, the Iconics would always be my first pick. But looking at the other women, you got Fire and Desire, but we see where that's going. Again, I can't wait to see that. And then you have just out of nowhere, thrown together because you needed more women, you got The Glow, Carmella, and Naomi. There's no other women on SmackDown Live. So those are literally your only choices. I gotta go with the Iconics on that.
Yeah, Iconics. What about Raw team?
Now that's a little more tricky because the Rad Squad's been jobbed out to pretty much oblivion, and I don't think you want to once again put in Nia Jax and Tamina. Then again, it would probably put in that unique dynamic where the 300 teams would probably go after them to eliminate them first, similar to what they try to do at the Elimination Chamber. But we haven't seen Mickie James for a while. Mickie James, Alicia Fox, I can definitely see that happening.
What about Mickie James and Alexa Bliss? What about Trish Stratus and Lita?
Oh, that'd be. Oh, that'd be insane.
That would just be a good. That would just be a good 2-on-2 right there, actually.
That'd be an interesting spin, kind of like how the Hardy Boys got thrown into like that WrestleMania match at the last second by the New Day, like and they end up winning the tag titles that night. That'd be interesting to just have Trish Stratus and Lita come out to be just thrown into that match at the last minute, probably by Vince.
What about you, Chris?
I don't see them winning because.
Of course not.
That would be an interesting dynamic. I can see any of those going on for Raw. Plus, Lita and Trish Stratus, both former competitors of Raw. It makes perfect sense.
What, Chris? Who would you put in from from NXT?
Oh God, I'm gonna be horrible with their names, but I'm horrible with their names. I keep wanting to always forget them, but the two women that are always with Shayna Baszler in her corner.
What?
I was bad with their names for a while too.
Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke.
Duke and Shafir.
There you go.
Oh, they're too green.
Hey, well, I'm about to say, you gotta do something. Like I said, they've been on TV with Shayna Baszler. You gotta do something. So if you do, you can have them be.
They have
there
name
for
value.
The NXT side.
And
You could do Iconics for SmackDown. Then you could do maybe I would still go with Mickey James and Alexa Bliss for Raw, and then do that for a fatal four-way elimination match. That's what I would do.
other than the Sky Pirates, they are the only other legitimate team.
Yeah.
So yeah, Duke and Shafir. I think I would go with Duke and Shafir just because of the name value. Obviously, they're not going to win the match. But they've had two losses as a tag team, a third loss as a 3 or a 6-woman tag team match.
Yeah.
And I think they come out of nowhere in some sort of match or tournament, or just a match, like a fatal 4-way match,
Like
to get into the
qualifying
fatal
match, yeah.
4-way. And they somehow come out with the victory. And so you put them in there, even though they're not going to win the titles.
Well, if they were to come out with a victory, you would obviously be building to the freaking 4-on-4, because imagine those two as champs. You already have Shayna still as NXT champion, and somehow Ronda Rousey retains her title. The 4 horsewomen have all the gold.
That would be insane.
That would
That'd be
be.
an interesting scenario.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
Granted, I think they'd be transitional as hell. Just Duke and Shafir would be.
in that situation, I would have obviously Rousey versus Becky goes on last
Yeah.
at Mania.
Oh, God.
So you have all 3 of them come out with her, and so at that point they're all carrying gold,
Mhm.
and so you have that moment to savor it before Becky beats Ronda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when Shayna Baszler and like the other two turn on Ronda Rousey at the end, or just like leave her.
That would be crazy, though, if Duke and Shafir won if they won the women's tag team belts, and then literally all 4 of the 4 horsewomen of MMA have the women's gold.
Yeah.
WWE.
The only one they wouldn't have would be SmackDown's women's championship.
Well, Shayna Baszler technically would not have a main roster title. I could see Shayna Baszler facing Asuka. That would actually be a very good match, in my opinion.
Oh my god.
That would be great.
She loses the title to Io Shirai on NXT and then faces somehow faces.
There is Asuka.
That works.
Here's what you do. You make the winner of the women's battle royal on the pre-show. You make that for the person that's going to face Asuka for the championship, because there's nobody else.
Brilliant.
That's a good idea.
So you put her in that match. She wins the battle royal, and then she faces Asuka and wins the title. And then you would have all at that point. They would all be the main titles.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Io
They would
Shirai
all
could have
have
the
WWE.
NXT
It's like
Women's Championship.
congratulations, like have fun hanging out in development.
getting those
Yeah.
small paychecks.
So, while we're talking about titles and championships, that's pretty much the topic of the night. United States Championship picture. So now it's on our
There's a
crew,
picture?
and he's
It looks like an ink blot test.
oh my gosh, yeah. He's basically incorporating John Cena fanboy here, but he's still putting to his character. He's bringing up these open challenges, and he's the goofy guy you don't expect to win. Yet somehow he's pulling out the win, using John Cena's moves. But the other competitors in the match, you think they're legitimate, they're going to win, or they should win. Hence the point. Andrade Cien Almas, just fuck the first name curse, versus Rey Mysterio versus R-Truth. That was freaking incredible match. It was very entertaining. There was some great spots. And somehow, I thought Andrade Cien Almas was going to win the title. R-Truth won. So, let me ask you all this. Who should take the title off R-Truth?
John Cena at WrestleMania.
That's what I was thinking too. I
Well,
think that could be
Luke Owen,
WrestleMania moment.
Wrestle Talk brought this up where it seems like he's going to end up doing a John Cena U.S. title open challenge at WrestleMania, and John Cena is going to answer the challenge and beat him for the title at Mania.
This sounds like a capital punishment rematch, except no little Jimmy.
Yeah.
Little Jimmy! Good grief, that was freaking funny. I wonder though if he loses the title here, will he go back to being like crazy, delusional, or just fade away to obscurity?
Well, he's getting pretty old. R-Truth is really old for a wrestler to be in the shape that he's in. Like, think about Ric Flair when he first started to look like an old wrestler. That's how old Truth is, and he still looks like a fucking mid-30s wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in late 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in his 40s, you're right. But to be fair, a lot of the vets that Vince bring back, they're pretty much at least in their 40s, if not more.
Well, he's not being brought back. He's been doing it consistent.
Right.
He's just in that great a shape.
All right.
Some people, I guess, just know how to keep the body up. Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so let's
See, I would want to see it maybe at Fastlane. They book a match with Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas, let them finish their feud up, and the winner of that match would face R-Truth at WrestleMania for the U.S. title. Have Andrade Cien Almas actually win the match and end the feud, and go ahead and challenge R-Truth and beat him at WrestleMania. I think they're going to try to push him stronger, because like I said, he's a damn good wrestler too. I think they need to push him stronger, and with Selena Vega by his side, I said there could be interference where he wins the match against Rey Mysterio. And like I said, I think that'd be an interesting way to go.
I like it. In my opinion, Andrade Cien Almas deserves to be a champion. I mean, he's put on classics, but he's lost practically all of them. You got to give him some sort of credibility.
What about you, Jerry?
There's only so much and so many times you can go over, hence the word over, in defeat. What was the last match Andrade Cien Almas won?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Against Rey Mysterio. What about you, Jerry? Where does R-Truth do at Mania? Or what does R-Truth do at Mania?
Oh, my answer for that's my same answer I've had for the past couple months. Bugenhagen.
The U.S. Open Challenge, and Eric Bugenhagen comes out fucking playing air guitar and screaming that chord.
I really do hope this NXT Cleveland and NXT Detroit this Saturday Sunday. I seriously hope I get.
How awesome would that be for Vince just to bring him up, even if he just loses to R-Truth? That'd be just like one of the most awesome bring ups ever, especially since he'll be just doing his power chords.
Can you imagine the chemistry between him and R-Truth?
Yes!
That would be insane.
Rap versus rock.
Oh my God.
Only Truth actually does rap.
Just air guitar all night long and screaming.
That'd be such a great match just for entertainment value alone.
The 7-second dance break versus the air guitar.
I loved it.
Oh, that'd be it too. Like you just said best. Like they'd be doing the 7-second dance break thing, and then he'll bust out with his sweet air keyboard, air guitar, and.
Or just scream during it. Oh my God, that scream.
I think you have Mustafa Ali beat R-Truth at Mania. Or beat whoever beats R-Truth and goes to Mania with the... Because I honestly, I'm not sure if I see R-Truth making it to Mania with the title.
I figure Mustafa Ali would probably be putting a storyline with Kofi if nothing else but boils down with that, because he more or less took his spot in that match.
I'm crossing my fingers and hoping for Kofi versus
Ali versus Kofi,
Daniel Bryan,
because these two, they have kind of the same type of outlook that the fans see.
Yeah.
A passionate individual deserving of a push and a title. That would be an incredible one-on-one bout, I think.
Yeah, I think what happened was Mustafa Ali was supposed to get the championship match at Fastlane, coming off the back of what would have been a great showing at the Elimination Chamber. And so they just stuffed Kofi in that spot, and they realized that the fans weren't happy with that, because that meant that Kofi wasn't going to be at Mania. They're like, that's right, it was going to be Kevin Owens at Mania with his new babyface push. And so they're like, okay, switch up the plans, and we're going to put Kofi in the spot at Mania and bring Kevin Owens into the title picture now.
Here comes KO Mania 4.
Oh, let's get
But see, they could also have Kofi win the title at WrestleMania and then have Ali be the first one to challenge him, saying, "Hey, you took." I got injured. You took my spot. This should have been me, and everything like that. And then they could have their program for the title. They could do that.
That's what I'm thinking. Not a strong heel turn, but enough that he's like, really passive aggressive and shit about it. Like the fact that that spot should have been his. All the success that Kofi's were like riding at this point should have been Mustafa Ali's. And like the sad part is the fans won't be able to disagree with it, and that's gonna piss them off even more.
Yeah, the best heels are justified.
Mm-hmm.
Pickle.
So
Nice.
it's getting pretty late. Any other anything you want to talk about, Chris?
So where do we see Finn Balor going at WrestleMania now? Since I don't think he's going to fight Lashley again at WrestleMania, so who do you see him facing maybe at WrestleMania?
I think Vince is trying to talk Taker into dumping StarCast or whatever it is and having a match. And if you're going to do one last match with Taker and him put over somebody, Finn Balor as the Demon.
Demon Balor.
Demon Balor gets put over by the Undertaker.
He's the Demon. It's been so long. I can see Finn Balor doing maybe like an open challenge at Mania, and this is just way out there because I remember him as a heel. Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode comes out, becomes champ, goes heel.
That would actually be pretty neat.
I think with the story that they've already been telling as the tag team with Gable, you don't just dump the possibilities. Like, if you're going to turn Bobby Roode heel, it needs to be done onto Gable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're wasting that opportunity.
For me, I think, especially since they're kind of on a losing streak as well at this point, maybe Cesaro versus Balor.
That would be awesome. I've always been saying Cesaro should be pushed as a singles champion. The last time he was actually even in an opportunity for one was a fatal four-way after Royal Rumble 1 versus all, and of course AJ Styles won that match. The next thing you know, he and Sheamus feud, they became a tag team. What's happened to that tag team since?
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, that would also set up for if Cesaro pulls off the victory and actually gets the belt, that'd start another feud for him and Sheamus probably. It'd be kind of like this endless circle, but at the same time, Cesaro needs a belt. Like, especially, like, I've been following his career since his Claudio Castagnoli days and Combat Zone Wrestling, Ring of Honor. The guy's always been impressive and super great in the ring and just has that presence to him. And for him not to have a singles run at this point in WWE, it's just criminal. Especially when at one point when he's being endorsed by Paul Heyman. I honestly thought from there that he was going to be, that was going to be it for him. It's like, okay, he's finally get the push he deserves, and nothing ever came of it. So.
Well,
how do you get Cesaro into that program for Raw for the Intercontinental Championship when it's on Raw and he's on SmackDown? How would you get into that program going into WrestleMania?
Let's be honest here, Chris. They're blurring the lines between brand split at this point. I mean, Kevin Owens, he used to be on Raw. Now he's on SmackDown Live. Charlotte, she just goes in between both. I mean, I don't think obviously the brand split's not dying because, Fox wants to be separated from NBC Universal, hence Raw. But they're blurring the lines between it, especially with the fact we're going to have a shakeup after WrestleMania. So why not?
If Finn Balor does an open challenge at WrestleMania,
that could be it for any brand.
Any brand there.
Because everybody's there.
Right. Yep. So, I could see it happening, but I wouldn't pick Cesaro if I was able to pick a SmackDown guy. But I still pick The Undertaker for Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Has The Undertaker ever been Intercontinental Champion?
Do you have any other picks besides Undertaker in mind?
I'm thinking purely Raw, so you have time to set it up with a good storyline, because it is, after all, the Intercontinental Championship. Fuck, I didn't think about it. Okay, so who do we have on Raw?
Elias?
Or it's possible they could do an open challenge, and then maybe a returning Sami Zayn could come out and challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. That's something that hasn't come back yet.
That's a good idea. I was gonna say Drew McIntyre, but I'd still rather see him face Roman Reigns.
So, Sami Zayn would be a perfect choice for that.
Yep.
really.
match could be up there with Sammy versus Nakamura back in NXT TakeOver Dallas.
Oh, the first Nakamura match.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sami
That was
Zayn.
his best
Yeah.
overall.
I'm gonna go with Chris's help on this. I'm gonna go with Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor.
Quick question, and then I guess we're going to probably go ahead and cut off so you can
Yeah.
get some sleep.
Give us the main
It's
event.
not even the main event. It's just a quick question. I think that was the main event. This is
Good.
bonus content for the
That was
bonus
about
content.
an hour right there.
What has to be the most annoying entrance theme you've ever heard to the point where you actually wanted to change the channel on any wrestling program?
I'm with Aaron on this. It's got to be Brie Bella.
Oh,
For me, most annoying, always makes me go, ugh. It's gotta be Stephanie McMahon's.
That's my number 2.
I was about to say Stephanie McMahon's music is pretty much
Love
shit.
Stephanie McMahon, not
Yeah.
the character.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
one of those things where you just kind of mute the
The
television.
music
And
needs
then
to
watch,
change.
Yeah, you just mute the television and watch.
Yes, exactly.
What about
Okay.
you, Chris?
I would go with Brie Bella. That song is annoying as all hell. I want to mute it every time she comes out.
For the longest time, I could not stand listening to Billy and Chuck's theme song, "You Look So Good to Me," back when they were a team. Like, it was so boy bandish and everything, and I'm like, oh, it's almost cringeworthy.
Okay.
But then there's
if you're talking like that far back, we can go back.
Oh,
to,
that's what I'm saying. Any theme.
Well, I mean, we can
Right
go
to
back
center.
to 3 count.
Oh, right to center.
Oh, but that was annoying in an X-Pac heat kind of way. Like we're talking like it's a really annoying sound in any frame of life.
Yeah.
It's meant to be annoying. It's
Yeah.
meant to catch your attention.
Eh,
Yeah.
eh.
But go back to
Warning,
3 count,
warning.
the 3-man boy band from
yeah.
WCW.
3 count.
They sang
Yeah.
their entrance music and it was horrible.
Oh, then there was William Regal's "A Real Man's Man" when
horrible, too.
When he came out with a hard hat and a,
Julian,
a hard hat and a flannel shirt. He was a real man's man.
oh,
Julian Hall, she used to come out singing, and also she sung part of her own theme.
Jillian Hall, yeah, that was horrendous.
what's the best theme music?
Oh, well, that's actually kind of tough. Me, weirdly enough, like, I'm actually repping one of my favorite theme songs, because, like, this Bullet Club shirt I'm wearing, I got when I met Jeff Jarrett, and I love his Planet Jarrett theme. It's got that, like, wee hoo, wee hoo, wee hoo.
Oh, yeah, that.
Like,
Yeah.
it was like, it starts off annoying, but then it just goes into this, like, really cool rock groove, but I think that's the point. I think that's the whole point of it. They had that siren type sound at the beginning just to get people's attention. They know it's Jeff Jarrett coming. Kind of like Mick Foley with the car crash. You hear that, you know Mick Foley's coming out the ring. You hear glass break, you got Stone Cold Steve Austin. You hear like cheesy 80 rock guitar, you have Hulk Hogan.
Well, Stone Cold has had a few different versions of his Stone Cold Steve Austin theme song, but they
Yeah.
all start with glass breaking, and I think it's the glass shattering that is really the epic part of his.
When you hear
What
the
comes
glass,
after
it's
that,
your ass.
As long as it's the
Hold up.
da dun da dun da dun
Yeah.
da dun da dun da dun.
Support. No DQ.
The way he made that sound almost sounded like Chris Benoit's.
Yeah, it's like-
that was some good one too.
Yeah,
for me,
but
it's
I
gotta
get you.
be,
But best
fu-
theme of all. You're talking about best theme of all time, Jerry?
Oh yeah.
But wow.
Ooh, well, you gotta go with Jim Johnston Classic on this one, and 2 come to mind because regardless how many times I hear it, I love it, I feel it, I know what's coming. Yeah, fuck it. Top 2. The Undertaker and Triple H, time to play the game.
You can
But
go with
which
Jericho
version of The
too.
Undertaker's theme? She's
For that.
had
Oh,
modifications of it throughout the years, though.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
he had the American Badass, Demon Walking, he had Limp Bizkit rolling, you had, but I gotta go with the original Undertaker, the King of Darkness, you know, the gong and just the organ.
Yeah.
Regardless what version you're talking about, that theme is timeless.
Stefan just brought this up. Like pretty much one of the greatest moments for me in wrestling in general was the night Jericho showed up for the first night on Raw, interrupting The Rock. Granted, Jericho has gone on record of saying he fucking hated that promo because he looked so weak at the end of it. He looked like this sniveling coward.
But everybody does when you're promoing against The Rock.
Yeah, but at the same
You're
time,
not going to win a promo battle against The Rock. I don't care who you are.
the first time I heard "break the walls down," I was like I fanboyed out. I marked out so hard. I think it was like 1999. So yeah, I was 18, but at the same time I was freaking out. Like this is before I had the internet, so I didn't know anything that was going on. And even then, it's like social media wasn't really that big of a thing back then. So you had your internet spoilers and whatnot, sure, but you had to really kind of dig for them, you know. So for Jericho just to pop up on Raw and like that music to be playing, that's just gonna stand out with me forever.
Yeah, because I didn't know he was coming to Raw. Everybody knew, and everybody knew that the Y2K was probably for Jericho because there were signs in the crowd.
Yeah,
that people knew he was going to be there that night, and I'm just, when I was at home, like when he showed up, I was just like, holy shit! Oh, that's right, I haven't seen him in WCW in forever. Holy shit, here he is!
He sat at home and collected his paychecks until his contract ran out because Eric Bischoff sent him home because he wouldn't re-sign a new contract. He said no ticky, no laundry. I've read the book like 20 times. So
Events nowadays. Yeah, that was an incredible moment.
But
going back to themes, I think my two, if I'm doing like Noah did, the two favorites, I would go with Steve Austin's Glass Shattered by Disturbed when they performed it. And I'm partial to Lita's theme entrance that she had.
Oh, Boy Sets Fire, I think it was, that I actually did that one, and that was really cool.
So for me, it's got to be fucking Jimi Hendrix, man. Voodoo Child.
Oh, Voodoo Child for Hogan? Yeah.
No, Hollywood.
Hollywood Hogan.
Because once you became NWO, everybody came out to the same. New world order. Everybody came out to
I was about to say Walter's theme's going to be like huge after a while too, but
Hogan came out to Hendrix.
Yes.
Yes, he did. It was freaking awesome.
And I think that was my introduction to Hendrix.
Yeah. Very, very well could be. Like it was for a lot of people, probably.
Yeah, that's for me. That's classic. He'll probably be my favorite wrestler of all time. And I'm not talking Hulk Hogan. Although Hulk Hogan is really the personality that drew me into wrestling as a kid. The few times when I would see that it's on, I'd be hoping that it's Hulk Hogan. Because I also saw him in fucking movies. Like people shit on it, but I love Mr. Nanny.
Suburban Commando was the shit.
I haven't seen Suburban Commando. What I remember about Suburban Commando was I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on tape, and one of the trailers before the movie was for Suburban Commando.
Undertaker was in there too as a space bounty hunter.
My favorite wrestler cameo is Kevin Nash in Grandma's Boy.
Well, I thought you were going to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
Oh my god, when dude turns around at him and he's like, "You're a hooker!" Oh, love that. That's the one phrase from movies that I tend to just bust out on people. Like, just, "You're a hooker!" And I'm hoping to God they've seen that movie.
Okay, let's just do this real quick. Since you said that, like, favorite wrestler movie cameo.
Cameo, not starring role.
Kevin Nash and the Punisher is what I like. So
was the Russian.
What about you, Noah?
That's hard, because I'm trying to think of wrestling movie cameos that aren't like little wrestler movies. I think like the last...
What about you, Jerry?
I got nothing.
I was about to say, one of my favorite ones is actually in the movie The Wrestler. If that's cheating, I don't give a shit. Actually, Ron Killings, aka R-Truth, he shows up in it. But one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie is just like the sequence with Necro Butcher, where Mickey Rourke and the Necro Butcher actually fight in this Combat Zone wrestling ring, and that whole sequence was really awesome. And you also see DJ Hyde from Combat Zone Wrestling in there as well. But if I had to choose an actual just almost like run-of-the-mill type cameo type thing, definitely MacGruber because you had Chris
Oh,
Jericho.
Ruler.
You had Chris Jericho. You had the Big Show. I'm pretty sure MVP. They're all in there, and they get blown up within 30 seconds of the movie.
Here's an obscure one that I really like was Chris Jericho in the
funny.
Sharknado movie
Oh, it's Chris Jericho and Sharknado.
as the guy that runs the roller coaster.
Yep. Oh my
And it-
god.
he has-
Sharknado movies, all right? There's like 6 of them. That's a ridiculous series right there.
They do not take themselves seriously. That's what I like about it.
Well,
'Cause
that,
you can't.
I think they made the last one, and I'm pretty sure they call it Sharknado. The
Everyone,
last one.
I think the one before that was supposed to be the last one too. They just Tara Reid is insatiable.
Yep.
Yeah, what's the last movie in a series? I mean, come on. Does the series truly end? But yeah,
'Cause you can always go back to the
I
prequel.
think he gets smart at one point. That had The Rock and Great Khali. That was pretty funny.
Oh, Great Khali and Get Smart was hilarious.
I think I watched that movie like 3 times in a week when I first watched it. I
Yeah.
love that movie.
Well, like I watched it not too long ago, like with the extra added footage, because all you gotta do is press a button on the DVD remote, and it had like 8 or 9 outtakes each time, like the icon would pop up, and each of them were funny. And then there's like 2 or 3 different takes on the rooftop scene with Great Khali, so that it was just brilliant.
But yeah.
Good stuff.
All right,
So we covered everybody's favorite wrestling theme song.
yep,
All right. So that's Chris Mace.
that's Noah Foster.
That's Jerry, the General Slaughter.
That's Stefan Osborne, the Wizard, the Radar Superstar,
No,
whatever, Radar Reviewer,
Yes.
Rated
That's
R.
not
Shannon
a
Bentley,
superstar.
also a cool fiend. Edge, all the best.
Oh,
Yeah.
Edge is going to be in Lexington in a couple weeks.
Ah, cool.
Lucky
So
son of my gun.
like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Have a good night, folks.